Hi Sharee, my name's Kate. I'm one of the discharge pharmacists at the hospital. Do you have a couple minutes to chat with me about your medication?
Yes.
So today I see that you're going to be going home on oxycodone, 10 milligrams, and you can take this every 4 hours as needed for pain. What advice did the doctor give you about how specifically to take this?
They told me to take it as needed every 4 hours.
Okay.
Usually they showed me a chart and it just tells me the last time I took it. So as needed is how they explained to take it from now on.
Okay. So you mentioned a chart. When you go home, do you write down when you take your pain medicine and how you're feeling?
Sometimes, especially if I'm headed towards a crisis, I remember the last time that I took my dose.
Okay, and that's a really great thing to do, especially because then you can take that information when you go to your doctor's appointments or if you come into the hospital, and then that really gives the provider some kind of background on kind of what's been happening recently on there, so they can kind of work with you and figure out what's going to be the next best step. So one of the things that I notice is the dose that you're on going home is a little bit higher than the dose that you came in on. So I noticed your dose prior to admission was 5 milligrams every 4 hours, and now you're going to be going home on 10 milligrams. And it's really common after somebody has a crisis that kind of in that period where your body is healing and kind of moving, forward from that you may need a higher dose for a period of time. Do you have a doctor's appointment set up soon?
I do. In about 3 days, I'll be meeting with my primary doctor.
Okay, that's perfect, because at that time, your primary will, work with you, and the goal is to get you back down to the dose you were on before the hospital. So it's a little bit of a moving target depending on how you're feeling. So what did the doctor tell you to expect with this new dose that you're going home with?
They told me to expect being dizzy.
Okay.
I may get some stomach aches, but also constipation.
So those are all, really common side effects anytime you take oxycodone or any other opioid medication. Because you've been on this before, I would expect that, your body kind of develops a tolerance and gets used to that feeling really tired or having an upset stomach. So usually those get better with time unless you have a lot of big dose increases, and then your body may have those side effects again. You mentioned constipation, and unfortunately that's one side effect that your body doesn't get used to. One side effect that I do want to talk about, it's really rare but it's serious, is slowed breathing. So sometimes if patients take a lot of medication, or if they take doses that are very high, they may have slowed breathing. Again, it's rare but serious, and one thing that's really important to know about that is feeling really, really tired is going to show up before that slowed breathing. So one thing to share with your family, or when you're off at school in a few months, if you have roommates, is if they notice that you're starting to get really tired, not to make sure you don't take any other pain medicine, and they're going to want to call the doctor. If they notice that the tired has kind of moved where you're only breathing, less than 8 times or 10 times a minute, then they want to call 911. In terms of, things to expect, again, once you take a dose of the oxycodone, it should start working in about 30 minutes. Most patients notice that it's most effective after about an hour, and for most people it lasts about 4 hours. What has your doctor recommended that you do if your pain isn't well controlled with the oxycodone?
Well, I usually don't turn to oxycodone until I've tried a lot of other things, like meditating or breathing, sometimes even just sitting in my room listening to my music just to relax myself.
Okay, and those are all great things to do, and I think it's really important that you keep doing those things, because one thing that's really important with pain medication is it's one part of kind of your overall pain management plan. I often think about, each of the different kind of interventions and things that we do have some increase, but when we add them all together, then that's where we really start to see big changes. So as much as I wish that we could have you pain-free, our goal with the medication is try to keep you as functional and active as possible, have you be more comfortable so you're able to get better quality rest at night, But again, it's only kind of one part of the puzzle. How do you store your medications? How do you store your oxycodone?
I don't have a pill case, but the doctor did say that I should try to keep those in there. Other than that, I just keep them in a medicine cabinet.
Okay. Do you have any pets at home, or like younger kids that come to your house, maybe family members?
I do have a dog.
Okay.
And he actually helps me when I'm in pain by putting his head on my knee. So, but yeah, just in a medicine cabinet is where I keep them.
Okay. So one thing that's really important with oxycodone is because it is a medication that has potential for diversion and has a very high, street value on there, is you want to make sure that you keep it in an area that's not accessible to everybody that comes into your house. Any other questions?
No, I'm just ready to go home.
I'm sure. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thanks, you too.
I hope you are feeling better soon, and I hope you're able to get some rest when you get home.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.